Hello everybody, Ian Robson. Welcome back to an episode of Coffee with Iain. Apparently in the last video my audio and my video weren't synced. I don't know why my program does that. It does it very often. It's kind of a weird scenario because what it'll do is it'll sync at the start and then at the end of the video it'll kind of desync, and I have no idea why it does it at the end, not the start. Not really sure why. So today I'm trying to record with Mirrorless Action because they have a feature where you can do just a full screen webcam capture. There we go. Holy moly! So that'll be kind of interesting to see how that works out. So we're going to see what this looks like. Let me know in the comments below what you think it is going to be, or what it's like. Not what you think it's going to be like. It's going to be seeing it. So, anyways, so for those people who live in Canada, happy Victoria Day weekend, also known as May Long Weekend, also known as May 2-4. So happy birthday to Queen Victoria, I guess it would be. For those people who don't know, I think in Quebec they call it something different. What is it named? It's not. I think it's the birthday of the Queen or something like that. They don't call it Victoria Day. La fin du national du roi or something like that. I don't know. Anyhow. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So for those people who've been following me, I did finally purchase a kayak, not till the other day there. Haven't been out in the water with it yet, but I did purchase a kayak. It was a Pelican Catch 120, so it's a fishing kayak, 12 feet long, and I think can support up to 400 pounds. Luckily I don't weigh 400 pounds, but if I did, or say up to 400 pounds, it'd be okay. So I'm pretty excited to get that out and try it out. It's what they call a sit-on-top kayak. So instead of being like, so here's the kayak right here, instead of sitting like in the kayak, like down here, I'm actually kind of like a bit higher on the water. And you can stand up in it as well, which is pretty sweet. So I'm pretty jazzed about that. I'll have to post a picture on Instagram about that. So you can see what it looks like there, but it's pretty sweet. I'm excited to try it out. I've never been kayak fishing. Well, that's not true. I have been kayak fishing before, just not on this style of kayak. So it's gonna be very cool to see what it's actually like. I'll be pretty excited. Pretty excited to see how it turns out for me, because I've done lots of canoe fishing in the past, and I've done, or say lots of canoe fishing, and I've done a bit of kayak fishing. I like kayak fishing, but it was kind of like you have nowhere to put anything. So with the kayak I got, there's lots of places to put stuff. So. And you can kind of adjust it a little bit too, so you can make it so you have, what would it be? If you want to put a fish finder in there, you can do that. If you want to add a rudder at the end, you can do that. So I didn't go for like top of the line. I kind of went for like not the low tier, but kind of like somewhere in the, as an entry level premium. I don't know how you say it, entry level premium kayak for fishermen, I guess. That's how I would describe it, at least. So. Like I said, pretty excited about that. And what else has been going on? Not too much. It's been pretty busy at work lately. So basically what's happened is, because spring has sprung, as the expression goes, people have been coming and getting a lot of stuff at work there lately. So it's been pretty busy. I've been working, I don't know, till 5:30 almost every day. So like 8 to 5 kind of idea. It's not too bad. The days go by really quickly when it's busy. Like in the winter, when you may see one or two, you may sport one or two questions. You're happy to just have those questions, but then now in the summer you get like quite a few different questions, and you have to kind of manage your time differently, which is kind of interesting. It's interesting to see the contrast between the two, actually. So anyhow, that's been kind of cool. In terms of video games, what else has been going on? Nothing too crazy. There is, I think I mentioned this in one of my previous videos. I don't know if they actually posted anything on that yet or not. Let's see, games installed. Did they mention anything about it yet? No. But they did. The devs of The Hunter Call of the Wild mentioned there would be a new species added, or new animal added to Hirschfelden, which is going to be kind of cool, actually, because I haven't played that map much, to be honest with you. I almost always exclusively play on Leighton Lows for whatever reason. I should really get out and do some more Antec as well, because I haven't played in that map very much at all either. So just trying to go through the mission line, but I put too many hours in that game already. I put 220, which isn't that much really, but it's enough. Let's say that. So I still enjoy the game. I have all the DLCs, and yeah, I don't know why I could spend just way too much time on that game, because you go around looking for stuff, and you're like, whether you're exploring the map itself and just enjoying the scenery around it, or whether you are doing something else, like it's kind of crazy what you can actually see. And like some of the screenshots I've taken, I've been like, wow, that's in a game, that's awesome. They've done a really great job with that game, and I'm really pleased with it. Because what happened is in the Hunt for the Classic, there was a lot of I don't know what you call it, microtransactions. So well, were they microtransactions? Yeah, there was like a pay-to-play kind of a scenario where if you wanted to hunt for ducks, you had to pay for a license for X number of days or months or years and whatnot, and then at that point you were able to you're able to hunt for ducks. Whereas this one, they've made it so there's DLCs, but it doesn't limit your gameplay. Like any of the animals they release it to everybody basically. The maps, they've made it so if there's map DLCs as well, like the EVGA DLC, that one, it opens up a new map with new animals, but that's like a whole separate thing altogether, which is kind of cool. So I like what they've done there. And yeah, also the other thing I mentioned I should bring up, I suppose, is the DLC from Farm Sim, which I mentioned I think last week. It's the Modern Classics DLC from the mod contest. Apparently, I still haven't picked it up, honestly. It's not too expensive, actually. It's just I like the idea of it, but I'm not like, ooh, that kind of seems really cool. Like one thing that Farm Sim has tried, or Giants has tried to do with their stuff is, for example, the Ropa DLC, I guess was the last big one. They added some equipment in there that's kind of like very difficult to make as a modder because of all the moving parts in it. Didn't really add anything that's like kind of revolutionary, but it did add some interesting big pieces of equipment that kind of very specific. The Coon DLC added the bale wrapper, which is something you were able to do before in game, basically. And then you have the no, JCB DLC was the previous version. What other ones are there? I can't even remember now. Big Bud Pack, of course, added some very large planting equipment, which you could find before, but they were always buggy as anything. So I'm really happy that they added that. The Platinum DLC added a whole new map, which is nice. I don't know, I just haven't been. I don't know. I was kind of like, okay, it's cool, whatever. I just didn't. I probably will get it at some point if I want to check it out, just because I'm curious about that New Holland combine, because that's a nice like kind of middle-sized combine. So if you don't like Case for whatever reason from the in-game stuff, you can go for the New Holland, so you get a bit of a choice there. So yeah. Speaking of New Holland and Case and tractors, lately because spring has sprung, as I mentioned before, it has been crazy in terms of the number of farmers I've seen out in the fields doing things. There's been a number of times where I've doing the old what would you even call it, doing the old driving down the road and going, oh, look at the tractor there, sort of thing. Like my sister says, I'm like that. I get distracted by tractors as opposed to, I don't know, like something else, I suppose. But yeah, there's been a number of times where I'm like, oh, I wonder if I should stop and take a picture. But I'm always concerned that maybe the farmer thinks I'm taking a picture of something they're doing because they're doing it wrong or something like that. So I don't know. We'll see. It will be interesting, that's for sure. So I wonder if the video and audio are going to be synced up in this video. We'll find out. But yeah, but I've seen a lot of farmers get out there and planting corn specifically, and I guess now a lot of people have planted a lot of their corn, so now they're kind of, some people are transitioning slowly to soybeans. It depends on the ground temperature and where they are, if it's high ground and low ground, and like I said, the ground temperature, just like it is in Farm Sim, where you have the seasons mod, where you have to plant at a certain time when the ground temperature is at a certain temperature, and if it doesn't go above that temperature, then you can't really, you can plant, but you may not have a successful crop, is what it boils down to. And that's the same applies in the game and in real life. So one of my bosses at work, he's been planting corn, and he was saying that corn can withstand the colder temperatures, which is why it ends up getting planted first. Whereas soybeans is if it goes below a certain temperature, they'll just rot. They can't handle that temperature. So that's why it's important to have that higher level of temperature in the ground before they plant. Otherwise, you're gonna just have rotten soybeans in the ground, basically. So yeah. And with that, actually, one more random side note. Have you ever listened to an audiobook? I've been listening to an audiobook lately because I drive a lot, like I guess a couple hours a day, sort of thing. I've been able to I'm surprised how fast you're able to go through a whole book when you listen to it as an audiobook. I think I've gone through, within a week, I've gone through 3/4 of a book, more than 3/4 of a book, which is faster than I would normally be able to read a book. I don't know. I usually, when I read, it's at night, and I'll fall asleep within 2 pages sort of thing, or get tired enough to stop reading within 2 pages, whereas as I'm driving to work, I'll go through maybe a whole chapter sort of thing. So it's been very interesting. So I'll try to find some other good books to listen to on my way to work and whatnot. So anyhow, and with that, folks, also, before I forget, congratulations to my colleague. He's getting married today, so congratulations, Bruce. And Dan, if you're watching, I'll do the chainsaw video just maybe next month. We'll see how it goes. And with that, folks, my name's Iain Robson. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, enjoy the coffee.